time by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update.
You can protect others from getting sick from COVID-19. Here's what you do. Stay at home unless you need food, medicine, or medical care. Avoid large crowds. And if you have to go out, stay at least 6 feet away from other people. Don't forget to wear a cloth face covering so you don't spread germs when you talk, sneeze, or cough. Cloth coverings should not, however, be used on children under 2. For more information, call 206-477-3977. That's 206-477-3977.
On RainierAvenueRadio.world, look for the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show. I'm Dennis Weaver, your good food guide and host, helping you to feel good and look good, and who wouldn't want some of that? All that and more from the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show on RainierAvenueRadio.world. Stories, songs, and guests. Begin living the organic good food life, and the rest of your life just may be the best of your life. Always up, baby, to your health.
Turn up your radio wherever you at. We about to bring it.
Street Beat.
Yeah.
With Tony B.
Tony B will give you a chance to tackle local, national, and international issues that affect your community.
Street Beat. Street Beat. With Tony.
The Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle, empowering communities and changing lives. The Urban League has been there to serve when our community is at its lowest. It's never mattered what the crisis was. The systemic oppression remains constant for those most vulnerable. Here at the Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle, we'll be temporarily adjusting our hours of operation and available services. If you are in need of resources, we recommend that you give us a call at 206-461-3792. To make an appointment, press 0 and speak with the receptionist. Walk-in hours will be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. And hey, we'll gladly work with you via phone as best as we can if you're exhibiting any signs of illness to assist you with information to save your home, find you a place to sleep, or connect you to job opportunities. The Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle. That's 206-461-3792.
You know you can't get enough of Rainier Avenue Radio. .world.
Hello. I just love our theme music. It's so mellow. And you know who else I love? I love Change Your Food, Change Your Life theme music. I always be dancing when that comes on. Shout out to Change Your Food, Change Your Life. What's up, everyone? It's your girl, Queen Bree and Robyn T, and we are here kicking it live at Clean Greens Living, broadcasted on Rainier Avenue Radio World. Hi, Robyn. How are you?
Hi, Queen Bree. I am really good. The sun's out. I am feeling great. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. And like Bree said, we're coming to Rainier Avenue Seattle, Washington. And it's actually unceded, occupied Duwamish territory. And you can also support the Duwamish Nation and pay rent for this land at realrentduwamish.org or support them at duwamishtribe.org. And that theme music that we love so much is produced by Cuddy Fresh, aka Carrie Williams. And we are happy to be here today. We've got all sorts of great topics today. So let's get it started. What do we have going, Queen Bree?
Oh, well, let's start off with some announcements. We are so excited here at Clean Greens. I keep saying that because we are excited. We just had a planning party on April 27th, was it? April 27th. Couldn't remember the date. The days are just flying by.
It was a Saturday and it was 2 weeks ago.
It was good. And listen, I have to say, I'm proud of myself because I went out there and I was helping plant stuff and there were earthworms and they were near my fingers. And I am not that one with the earth just yet, but I guess I am now because I didn't flinch. I just didn't touch it and I just kept planting. So I'm really proud of myself. We also have another. You said what?
I said that is a big deal. A lot of people don't do worms. I'm named after the robin birds, so we tend to really like worms. I was known to, because I grew up here in the Northwest, so like I'm used to seeing the worms on the street when it's rainy, and then trying to like put them back in the dirt.
Yeah,
But
see, no.
I don't enjoy it touching them. You know what I mean? But that is a great job. I saw really, really cool pictures that you took at that planting day, and it was such a success. So great job for the worms and the planting.
Yes, and I'm one that says it's the circle of life, and I try to walk over the worms and not even look. But we do have a planning party coming up May 5th. If you want to join in and volunteer, please join us on our website and sign up. It's www.cleangreensfarmmarket.com. Also, CSAs are on fire, honey. Our CSAs are on fire. So if you want a CSA, you need to hurry up and go to our website and get you a share. They are on fire. Hurry up before they run out. www.cleangreensfarmmarket.com. Is there anything else I'm missing on Farm Mate for Clean Greens? We are super excited about this coming up. We also have another announcement from Rainier Avenue Radio. Best Starts for Kids Virtual Summit, Tuesday through Friday at 9 a.m. So please check our listings on Rainier Avenue Radio. They'll be having the Best Starts for Kids Virtual Summit this Tuesday through Friday, 9 a.m.
That is so cool. We met through some of the Best Start stuff when we started doing work together on equity team, and it was with Best Starts doing all that educating at the school. So now we're sticking with it, doing it here, and also talking about the farm and all this stuff we bring to you every week. So we got lots to talk about. But yeah, Rainier Avenue Radio has such great programming. I sit and think about it a lot. They did a lot for Earth Week.
Yeah.
And that's why we took a week off. But we do have a really great live that was done on Instagram with Queen Bree and our favorite doctor, Dr. Alicia, talking about prediabetes. So
yes, and we'll be recapping that in a second. We just want to talk about, we want to keep our history going. Listen, if I have to say so myself, Black people are awesome, okay? We have done, don't let nobody tell you Black people are lazy. Don't let you people tell you Black people do not contribute to society. Because over this weekend, I vaguely heard about this story before, and you're busy, you work in life, you kind of just put it to the burner. But I actually watched a movie about this woman named Henrietta Lacks. I had to pick up the book, the reading, Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. Oops, sorry, this way. This is the woman whose cells have been helping create so many different things. So let's talk about how they took a sample of her cervix, I think it was, cells from her cervix, and they have used it because it multiplies. Now, listen, I'm not a scientist, so I may screw this up, so you need to research. Oh, I'm not talking to you, Siri. You need to research Henrietta Lacks. Her cells help found cure for cancer, right? HIV. I haven't researched it yet, but even in our COVID vaccinations, there has been so many things. This story is so deep. I mean, they took samples of her cervix without asking, without permission. They have made billions of dollars off of this woman's cells to cure, which is, thank you, Henrietta, for your service, even though you didn't even ask. Her family didn't get any money from it. This story is crazy. Sorry, Robyn. I'm just like in awe.
Never apologize. And I'm really glad you brought this up, because first of all, other cells were being collected. Okay. So there's so much to this. She was at a clinic and she actually passed from cancer. Okay. She had 5 children and she died young, 31. And she was at a clinic that was one of the only clinics that would take African-American people then. And there were only like 2. And so she got in there, passed. And these doctors had been collecting cells, right? None of the cells would live. Now hers are like immortal. Hers thrived and replicated. Because of her, the polio vaccine was created, and now the COVID vaccine and all the other things Queen Bee mentioned. But like, how cool, like I'm wondering, like, where did those other cells come from? Because this is a pretty magical individual being, you know, that keeps carrying on. So yeah, there's a lot more advocacy going on now to get consent. There's a whole movement now for...
Yeah, because right now they can take your cells without your consent. As long as they don't put your name on it, they can collect these cells without your consent. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Wild. And just to think of how deep this story is, like watching the movie, and I'm going to get into this book, her daughter, she had a special needs daughter, and they couldn't take care of the special needs daughters and their other kids, so they sent their daughter off to a school, and the schools was screwing holes in the baby's head. Like, just the treatment of African-American people, the treatment of people with mental health back in the day, and even still to this day, is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. I mean, you may not get them, well, shoot, you still may. We just don't hear about it. Get them drilling holes in their heads. But it's just, educate yourself, please, on mental health. Educate yourself on knowing that these doctors may be out here taking samples of cells that we don't even know about. But this story, her story is it's interesting. I mean, her cells are immortal, which is good, but just the fact that they took it without consent, the fact that her family didn't get anything from it, and the fact that they were trying to take blood from the kids. They were trying to see if the kids had these same immortal cells. And the kids didn't even know, the family didn't even know. They thought that they were doing something to help, you know, because family history, but they were doing it to see if the kids had the same mental health. And I mean, the family went through a lot. I mean, the mom died, the dad, they had families taking care of them. The daughter was raped. The kids had mental health. Just, you guys got to check it out. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Not sorry.
And she was a really cool lady too before all that happened. Like, apparently she really loved to, and I love this too. I almost tried to paint my nails in honor. She really loved to paint her nails red and like cook and, you know,
cook for the community, family coming in and out, just cooking for everyone, being there for everyone, just a beautiful community soul. And rest in peace, Henrietta. I'm so happy that you ever existed, and I'm sorry that your story is this story. Moving on. Ooh, this is a kind of a deep show. Okay, so we were out last week for Earth Week. Rainier Avenue Radio had some cool shows on, so we were out. But last week we got the what was it?
Guilty verdict.
The guilty verdict. Wow. I seen this thing on Instagram. Did you see it where we've been pronouncing his name wrong?
Yeah, I love that one.
It's pronounced murderer.
Yeah.
Murderer.
Murderer.
Let's talk about that. I know we're a little late in the game. We're about a week late in the game, but we want to get it out. Like, for me, the whole thing was anxiety. Like, we know what we saw. And the fact that they tried to convince us that what we saw was not what we saw, and what we saw was in result of the bird, the plane, the fire, everybody but the person of the neck on his knee. I mean, they tried to blame the crowd, the exhaust pipe, his drug abuse, everything. And so the whole trial for me was anxiety. It was making me mad. And when it was time to read the verdict, my stomach hurt. My stomach was hurting. Like, I couldn't even talk. Don't talk to me. Don't say anything. And when I heard that guilty verdict, it was just a relief, a temporary relief, but it was a relief. And let's be clear, this is not justice, because Justice Joy Floyd will be here alive. This is accountability. And I am happy that this happened. And maybe we can start holding more cops accountable for their actions. I am not anti-police, but I am pro accountability. And the way that some of these cops have been handling the people in the streets, human beings, is ridiculous. Sorry, Robyn. What's your thoughts? I went in because I'm irritated.
I don't know. I am anti-police. So sorry.
Well, I don't want to get into that. Like,
I know I don't want to get into that. I just know that yes, accountability is a step, and the whole system is unjust, and cops are one part of it. Because anytime a person of color, Black or brown person, is in the system, they get a harder time, whether it's physically in these situations where they're detained and they're murdered, or whether it's down the line in sentencing, or whether it's getting pulled over in the first place. So the whole system is set up not to provide safety.
The system is set up to continue on slavery.
Okay, see, yep.
Yeah, the system it's set up to continue.
It comes from, that's the root. Okay, that's the root of the system. And when someone is in distress, the people they're sending aren't qualified. They're escalating. I saw one part of the trial that was so hard to watch. I'm one of those people as well. I feel feelings of other people, when I'm seeing it. So it's very visceral. And I saw that point where they put him in distress just because he had been shot before in a vehicle, and he was like, I can't breathe. This is a stressful situation. And they just made it worse and worse and worse and worse. And this is what happens. And this is what happens over and over. I mean, this has happened to people right here, like right by where Rainier Avenue Radio is. There was Sean Fuhr. There was, down in Tacoma, Manny Ellis. So, and how often are the last words, I can't breathe. So anyhow, yes, no justice, accountability. And that is very important, because it's like, you can't gaslight anymore. You can't avoid lying, but it's on video.
Right. And when they came to his car, they were already elevated. Like, the look on his face when they came to his car broke my heart. Because I would have been scared too. Like, what are you screaming for? Yelling all over alleged, like, now it's an alleged a fake $20 bill. So now we don't even know if the $20 bill was right or wrong.
Doesn't matter though, because the real robberies in this country are robbing people of their time, of their lives. Like, whenever they frame someone and send them to jail, that really happens. Whenever
God, yes.
Enslavement, taking land, like that was big robberies, is what I'm saying. So like
the biggest corruptions.
So like
is in Washington.
$20, you shouldn't even be like stressing about using force. You shouldn't even consider that, that could anyhow. Yeah. So
yeah. What was that show that we checked out? I can't think of it. It's like 13 on Netflix.
Yeah, Ava DuVernay's 13th Amendment.
13th Amendment. Okay, I was in my head. I was thinking 13.
It's called 13, right? But yeah.
Okay, 13. You guys have to check it out, because it explains exactly what we're talking about. This isn't something we're pulling out of our head. The system, when I say anti-police, I'm not anti-idea of someone being there to help people who are under stress. I am anti this whole notion that this system was created to continue on slavery. Because if you think about it, they talk about cops are taught to de-escalate, but they pick and choose when they want to de-escalate. And it's going into our next topic, talking about Ma'Khia Bryant. So we had this temporary success to go to another child being killed. And I'm just so irritated at the commentary with it. Like, the commentary of, oh, she had a knife, oh, this, oh, that. And it's like, there have been white mass murders who just shot up about 25,000 different people with guns still in hand being taken in alive. Yeah. And so when we talk about de-escalation, one side is saying they are taught de-escalation, and the other side is they're taught to get rid of the threat. Well, who's the threat? So every time they deal with a Black person, they're trying to get rid of the threat. So listen to these buzzwords when people are talking. Exactly. These are buzzwords, like they're taught to de-escalate. Then why aren't they just de-escalating the situation? They're picking and choosing. They choose to de-escalate with the white people. I've seen plenty of times where I've seen in the video, this man was stabbing at a cop.
Yeah.
He got taken down. Another man stabbed a cop in the throat, and they still didn't shoot him as he was running off. Mm-hmm. But a 16-year-old girl was a threat. Like, I'm just, and if you, for those who don't know, Ma'Khia Bryant in Ohio was shot and killed. The thing was, someone in her house called 911. They said it was her. Some people said it was her sister. She was getting ready to get jumped. By the time the cops got there, the situation had escalated. She had a knife in her hands, and the cop shot and killed the 16-year-old child. And the debate in America has been, she had a knife. I can go on, but I don't want to monopolize this whole conversation. So, Robyn, go ahead and give your input.
I mean, they always try and say there's a justification for murder, but there just isn't. You know, your life wasn't in danger. Your life wasn't in danger with the other murders, and that is a full-blown excuse. And it is common for cops and things to look at Black and brown children as more grown up and treat them differently, and not see that this is the person you're supposed to protect. They may have a knife because they were fearing for their safety, and they called you for help, and you didn't do a good job at all, and you lost a life of someone who really needed help. You know, even the other people, you don't get to decide if they live or die. Your life wasn't in danger from a child with a knife. It just wasn't, you know. So that is how I feel. And it's a whole nother thing, because often the women and young girls that are killed aren't it's not as recognized, you know, in the media as the men. Yeah. So there's that whole level of the intersection of the lack of protection for young women and black girls and women. So it's something we really need to think about, and we really need to advocate for and protect and say names. And we're also here to say names people while they're here, and celebrate people while they're here, because that's another thing, is like the you know, lifting up, this is like another topic, but lifting up people that are doing great stuff already here, like trying to, you know, further careers. There's systemic oppression going on in every realm of society. You know, I don't want to only remember people in their death. You know what I mean?
Right. Give them their flowers while they're alive.
Both are important, you know. So I don't know. I love that we get to do that on this show in both ways, and have a lot of amazing people from the past and the present on to talk about that. Yeah. So if you have more words on Ma'Khia, it's just, that was.
Well, I do, and I'm going to end it there because I don't want to get too deep into it. But a lot of people talk about the people that were standing around, and then we start to get into the talk about our community. When I say our community, I mean the Black community. And how can we hold our Black community accountable? And that's a tricky question, because the Black community is doing what the system created the Black community to do. And I can say it's kind of hard to hold them accountable when there is systems set up to help people fail, and there's mental health, there's trauma. There's not a lot of people in the community. So for my community, what I will say and what I will urge is, to my community and other communities, stop relying on the news to tell you what's going on in the community. Get out in the community and see what's going on, because what you're seeing on the news and what you're seeing on the TV is not always accurate. These people are crying out for help. These people are needing. We have a 6-year-old child who died in the streets because the community wasn't strong and the police force chose that she was a threat that day. And it is very sad. So I will say, for my community, to get into the community, I don't want to hear anyone, Black, brown, white, pink, yellow, saying anything about the African-American community or people of the low income community having any sorrows. Doing anything bad, if you're not in the community trying to make a positive change in their lives. Don't go in the community trying to change them. Go in the community and see where you can help. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
No,
So
I love that, because that's the thing that you gotta allow the communities to say what they need. You know, they know best, and they've actually been saying so this whole time. It's just a lot of times the people with money won't kind of do what
they're like, I have the money, I have the education, I know how to do this, I know what you need. And it's like, no, you haven't been living this life. You haven't been down the road I've been through. You haven't been through the traumas I've been through. Micaiah was in foster care. Foster care in its own, especially for the African American community, is trauma. They don't treat you right in real life. You think they're going to treat her right in foster care? So, and then they talk about that if the parents didn't have her, it's hard. Once an African American family gets in foster care, it's hard to get them out. I worked for an agency where I seen this in real life, where there was a Black mom fighting to get her daughter back, jumping through all the hoops that the state gave her. And they were relying on her white foster parents who get paid for this child to determine if the mom should get the child back. And then I've also seen when I worked there, white families, no matter what you did to call CPS on them kids, they didn't come get those kids. That's another form of assimilation to this country. They want to take our kids to rear them in what they want, feed them what they want, and take them out of our lives. So again, I urge my community to get into the community and help out and mentor and give resources and donate. And I urge the other communities to donate their money and donate their time. All right.
Pay the reparations.
Reparations.
It makes me think too. Well, yeah, there is a long history of removing African American kids from families and Indigenous and Native American kids from their families. And that still happens today, kind of like the 13th movie, the 13th Amendment. Enslavement is still happening via the carceral system and incarceration. And then the removal of kids from families is happening with the foster care system. This is not to say that all foster parents are bad or any of that. But what we have coming up though on some upcoming shows I want to plug, because it's a perfect segue to what you're talking about. We have Curtis from Fig Mentoring, and then we have Deontay from Black Lives Matter King County, and they're actively working on these things. So there's some legislation out there that needs support to help keep Black children with their families. Foster care. So we're gonna really keep finding ways to take some positive action on this, and getting into your community, like Queen Bree said, is amazing. And we've got fun stuff coming up. You can always hang with Queen Greens in the community too, because we're gonna have a planting party. We're trying to grow right now, because if you're able to donate, we're trying to grow our children's program this year. They get to come hang out and learn about planting and food justice. And then we also have on the farm fun ways to volunteer as well. And we also have a big party coming up.
Oh, if you guys are just tuning in, you are checking out Clean Greens Living Live, broadcasted on Rainier Avenue Radio. And I know you guys think, oh, Clean Greens, I thought you were going to be talking to us about fresh fruits and vegetables and exercising. Clean Greens is dedicated to their community. So we will be talking about keeping exercise, eating well, and systemic things that are going on in our community. All of those affects the people that we are trying to help in their health and in their food. When you're stressed, you don't tend to make the best eating decisions. When you don't have access, you don't tend to make the best eating decisions. So we want to bring awareness all around. But speaking of, let's talk about our talk with Dr. Alicia. Happy Healthy Dr. Alicia, if you want to follow her on Instagram. Happy Healthy Dr. Alicia on Instagram. So we talked to her about diabetes. Diabetes is one of the main things that our African-American communities, people of color, deal with. And she left us with some tips to talk about prediabetes. Prediabetes is a warning, and steps that you can take to help that is to cut back on sugary carbohydrates, processed foods, sugars, breads, pastas, and rice, and try to find healthy alternatives as far as eating high fiber diet, leafy greens, which what we have in our CSAs, which is now live and kicking, healthier options for pasta. There's all different kinds of ways we can eat pasta. And then just start slow. So incorporate this in your food. You don't have to stop cold turkey, but just start incorporating healthy foods in your meals. Thank you for joining us. You have been watching Clean Greens Living live on Rainier Avenue Radio. Up next is Traffic Jam.
Thank you. you. Bye.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not stopping a Mercer Island street brawl, I'm listening to